Hello everybody, it's Portal, and welcome to my third specific killer guide. Today I'll be going over the original killer in Dead by Daylight. You know him, you probably love him, it's the Trapper. Once again, I'd love it if you could hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and leave a like, as it really helps me make more videos with the extra growth. Sorry for that self-promo, but it would really help my channel. The Trapper is the oldest killer in Dead by Daylight, with one of the most basic powers and very basic perks. Since he can only place down bear traps, he is great for expressing more technical game sense, as you need to have a mastery of his power to use him correctly. You also need to know how survivors think, and be able to abuse that with his bear traps by putting them in smart positions. Let's get right into the guide. The Trapper is basically the baseline for all killers, in terms of his basic stats. He has the classic 32-meter terror radius, 115% movement speed, and he is also tall, so you'll be able to see him at medium loops easier. The Trapper's power is called Bear Trap. I know, it's an incredibly unique name, but at least it's straight to the point. The Trapper starts the game out holding 2 bear traps and having 6 other closed bear traps scattered throughout the map. You can carry a total of 2 bear traps at a time. You can set traps and pick them up as you please, as long as you either have a trap to put down or space in your bag to put a trap in. The Trapper can hold down his power button in order to place down an open bear trap. If a survivor walks into an open bear trap, they will be held in place and be given the option to try to escape. Every time they struggle, the survivor has a 16% chance to escape, but after their 6th attempt, they will be set free. An allied survivor can also set them free if they are close by. When freed, a survivor will be injured, even if they were healthy before they were trapped, and the open trap will be disarmed. Survivors can also disarm an open trap by walking up to it and holding down the interact button. The Trapper will see when a survivor is caught in a bear trap and see where they are as long as they continue to be trapped. When trapped, the Trapper has the option to either hit the caught survivor and down them, or he can instead just pick them up on his shoulder. When you do either of these options, the trap will be disarmed and placed back on the ground. The Trapper has the option to reset a trap when it is already down on the floor and is disarmed, reopening it to be able to be used again. The Trapper has what I would consider is the most basic power in the game. I mean, you literally just pick traps up and set them down. That's literally it. Because of this, he is incredibly abusable. I mean, he needs to be super smart with bear traps to even have a power in a chase, meaning he is just an M1 killer with a potential for a trap to help in a chase. Also, don't forget that survivors can just disarm traps, and good survivors will know where your traps are by following you and watching you set them, letting them know where not to go. I'd consider the Trapper to be one of the worst killers in the game, if not the worst, but he is fun nonetheless. I love the feeling of only being able to win a game by outsmarting a survivor with good traps and good use of chasing survivors into the traps. Since the Trapper is one of the oldest killers in the game, he has some of the most basic perks. He released at a time before there even was a meta. Along with Billy and Wraith, new killers had to find out how to play the game and which perks were good. The Trapper has 3 teachable perks. His first teachable perk is Unnerving Presence. When a survivor is healing or repairing in your terror radius, they suffer a 10% increased chance to get a skill check, and the success zones of the skill checks are reduced by 40, 50, or 60% based on level. This perk, straight up, is not good. I mean, it certainly has a use in super low elo lobbies where survivors can't hit skill checks period, but apart from that, it really has a glaring weakness. First is that survivors just won't repair or heal when they are in your terror radius, waiting for you to pass them and go elsewhere for them to continue in order to not face the debuffs. The second weakness is that good survivors just simply won't care. Hitting skill checks is not hard once you get over 20 hours in Dead by Daylight, so the perk will be borderline useless against experienced players. If I had to rank this perk out of 10, I would give it a 2 out of 10. I mean, I could see its use 6 years ago when the game was first released, but now I wouldn't bother with using it at all, with one exception. If you want to play as a doctor with a huge terror radius for a meme build, you could slap this on to complement that. The Trapper's second teachable perk is Brutal Strength. You increase the speed at which you break pallets, walls, and generators by 10, 15, or 20% based on level. This perk is actually pretty solid, and with the overall buffs to braking speeds in the 6.1.0 update, it makes it even quicker now than ever before. It has a solid use on basic M1 killers who want to get rid of safe pallets fast, as some killers don't have chase powers and want to get themselves into a favorable situation much faster. Combining this with Enduring and Spirit Fury is really silly, as you basically become the pallet breaking messiah. If I had to rank this perk out of 10, I would give it a 7 out of 10, as it has a solid use, but it might not be worth using up a perk slot for its effect. The Trapper's final teachable perk is called Agitation. When carrying a survivor on your shoulder, your terror radius will be increased by 12 meters, and you will have a 6, 12, or 18% increased movement speed during that time. This perk allows you to be faster than survivors when carrying somebody, as when you carry a survivor, you usually are slower than survivors. You can use this to surprise survivors who are in front of you when carrying somebody, as they won't expect you to outpace them. This perk can really come in clutch when going to a hook due to the increased movement speed, and I also love it when you use Mad Grit, allowing you to almost indefinitely hold a survivor if people are body blocking a hook. If I had to rank this perk out of 10, I would give it a solid 6 out of 10. It is useful because of the effect it gives you, helping you get survivors from their ground to the hook faster, saving you precious time which you can be using to patrol generators or chasing other survivors. The Trapper's 3 teachable perks are quite basic, but honestly they aren't really all that bad, with the exception being Unnerving Presence. They all have a solid use and can help many killers out in a chase or when going to a hook. When you play as the Trapper, expect to lose generators early. Set up traps in spots where you want survivors to go, then corral them to that area when you can. His power comes from snowballing with traps in the mid to late game. His power is super simple, yet super hard to use well in high elo, making him one of the worst killers if you aren't experienced with him. For add-ons, I recommend you use a tar bottle, as it makes traps much harder to see if they are in grass. The tar bottle considerably darkens traps, making them almost black as compared to the basic tan colored trap. I also recommend that you either use the trap bag or the setting tools. The trap bag has you start with 1 extra trap and increase the cap of holding traps by 1, and the setting tools increases settings time. These both are serious time savers, either helping you carry more traps, making it so that you don't need to run around to get more traps, and one reducing setting time and increasing the time to escape. Next up, I have a full game of Trapper with commentary done over important moments. Credit to Pain Reliever for this idea. At the start of the game, I work to identify a good area to defend. I start trapping the areas that I want to keep safe in the late game. Because of this, I'm willing to lose any gen that's not in one of these areas. I trap here in case they drop down. That will give me an insta-down. That was a lucky trap. I'm working to get these pallets out of the way for later, so they can't chase me too far away from where I want to defend. I trap here for the same idea as the other hold trap. I want to collect traps which are on the other side of the map earlier on, so I don't have to go out of my way later. Well, at least these pallets are out of the way now. The key to a good trap is making sure that survivors being chased won't see it until they are already trapped. Also, if they blend in, it really helps. I barely get this gen hit with Overcharge and Call of Brine. I set down this trap to make them waste time near this gen. A window trap like this is great, as survivors won't see it until they are down. Boom, nice trap. I guess it blended in with the floor well enough. I patrol over here but waste a lot of time. At least I can grab this trap for a better spot. This is a classic. A spot like this will force a survivor to leave. I fake put a trap down to get him to run away, then I down him. This gen has regressed so much. I love it. I'll just slug this guy for now, because I don't want to eat a DS right now. Unfortunately, they found one of my traps, but I now try to corral the survivors into this trap, which gets me a down. I wish that the Fang got trapped instead, but a down is a down. Jane didn't make it to a loop, so I just put her right on a hook. Sorry, Thick Brick. I'll look for a new spot for a trap now. This gen is already at 0. Damn circle of healing, always healing up survivors in indoor maps. Whoops, I guess he misclicked and just sort of rolled with it. Sorry, Quentin. reset these traps in order to hopefully catch someone off guard who wants to repair this generator. The trap worked, injuring Jane, but I was elsewhere so I couldn't get it down. Use your ears once you get blinded. Survivors are super loud when injured, so if you have good map knowledge, you can follow them quite easily. Now that they know this trap, I'll move it elsewhere. I'll reset this trap to hopefully catch someone off guard. It appears that my recording software lagged here. Sorry, guys. Hopefully this trap here can catch a vaulter off guard eventually. I barely save another gen. I'm getting super lucky with these plays. Sneaky, sneaky, Quentin, but not sneaky enough. A series of unfortunate events here. A misplayed pallet, and Jane gets caught lacking. Finally, this trap worked. I knew it would eventually, so I'm glad I managed to use it. Damn, that circle of healing could really hurt me right now. I hear Fang drop down here, so I finally know where she is. Jane fully healed, so I assume she is near the boon, but I couldn't find her. Now for some exciting walking simulator gameplay. Oh, lucky me, I guess. Let's try and down Jane. I fake set a trap to make her leave the loop like I did before. As soon as I get her down, Fang finishes a boon and heals up. Luckily, I have a devilish idea on how to get those two down here. If I can make Fang go unhook from the upstairs, I can trap both of them down here with me. Oh boy, this actually might work. Fang gets the unhook. I body block them and they are basically both doomed down here. Unfortunately, Jade had endurance, so she slips away. Hopefully I can catch her soon. Oh nice, lucky me, I got her. Well, she didn't struggle, and I do have a soft spot for Jane players, so I'll let her go. This was a well-played game for everyone here. The Jane was a total sweetheart too. They followed me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Portalmiles, be there or be square, and messaged me thanking me for the hatch. The most important part of playing Trapper is area defense. You have to know where to trap and how to keep that area safe from survivors. You need to know where to defend, which gens to give up, which chases to take, which traps to hide for a surprise hit, and which ones should be used in chases. There's so much you need to know as Trapper, so I recommend that you just jump right into the game, as the best way to learn how to play as him like a pro is just practice. Alright, and with that, I think that'll be it for today's video. If you liked it or learned something new, subscribe, leave a like, and ring the bell to get notified for whenever I upload. Also tomorrow, I'll be uploading one extra Trapper game where I go over the glory of snowballing as Trapper. In the game, I go against a pretty big streamer, but I won't say who, so you'll just have to figure that one out when I upload tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone!